Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Driss. In today's video, we're going to be going over every single item that was just added to the brand new Retake the Walls raid within Legends ReWritten. We got gear, we got Titan forms, and a couple of new weapons as well. In the raid itself, there's gonna be 4 droppable pieces of gear. First is the red scarf. This is gonna be acquired through finishing the raid. Anyways, the red scarf gives solid HP at 1150, and good mana at 750, and requires level 180 attack. But the best part about this is, of course, that 20% damage buff to ODM gear. So next, we have the scout coat and the scout shirt. They have the exact same stats at 1600 HP and 1100 mana, and they both give a 10% ODM damage gear buff, which is very useful. And the stats on these are pretty solid. And then we have the scout pants, which require level 185 attack, have 1400 HP, 1100 mana, and also give that solid 10% ODM damage buff. And they all look very good as well. And if you're gonna be using any of the ODM gear, you're gonna want these items. So the last 3 pieces of armor that you can get in this update are actually acquired through crafting from the blacksmith, but they require the rotted armor knight set, as well as armor shards and embers in order to craft this armor. But the stats are very much so worth it. So the helmet is the Titan helm. It gives 1900 HP boost and 550 mana. 1900 HP on a helmet is ridiculous. The chest piece is the Titan plate. It gives 2350 HP and 700 mana and requires level 190 defense. This is the most HP we've ever gotten from anything before. This is absolutely cracked. Further, the pants are known as the Titan leg plates or fire level 190 defense. They give 2000 HP and then 625 mana. So this is without a doubt the best melee build armor set in the game because you're getting so much health. So now that we got all of the armor and stats out of the way, I want to start showing off the ODM gear. This stuff is very cool. So in order to actually acquire either the lightning rods or just the ODM gear, you're going to need to craft them in the blacksmith area, and they are some very difficult recipes. The ODM gear I keep referring to are just the Titan blades, and the other one is, of course, the lightning spirits or lightning rods, whatever they're actually called in the OT, I don't remember. But it is very hard to craft these. You need to get high tension wires and grappling hooks, which are both 1% drops from the raid. So these are very difficult items to craft. But anyways, the ODM gear, both the lightning rods and the Titan blades are the most complicated weapons to use in the game. If you want to activate the grappling mode and basically the mode that you see in AOD all the time, you must hit Y on your keyboard. After you hit Y on your keyboard, your dash, as in just the Q key on your keyboard, I don't know what it is on console and mobile because I don't play those, becomes your new grappling wire. This has a learning curve around it, and I'm nowhere near the best player with this yet, so the footage is probably a little sloppy, but you can also then use the spacebar if you double tap it to do a boost of gas, which is why you need to get lots and lots of gas if you want to be using the ODM gear. But anyways, the lightning rods are very good ranged weapons, especially at fighting specifically the Titans in the raid. These things shred all of the Titans because you can just target their heads and their upper bodies, and do a lot of damage with this. Plus, it's a very spammable attack, but in my opinion, I don't think the lightning rod's actual damage output is really that good. I think they're very useful for the raid itself, and swinging around in ODM mode is very fun, but I think the most useful part of the lightning rods is using this for the raid. Now, let's talk about the Titan blades themselves. So their damage is 225, and they do the exact same thing with the grappling mode. If you hit Y, you enter ODM mode, your Q becomes your grappling hook, double, tap the spacebar for a boost of gas. So all that works the same. But something to keep in mind with the Titan blades is if you're in that ODM mode and you've hit the Y button, you will not be getting that full melee combo and your full damage. You're getting a more restricted version of it while you're swinging around. If you turn off ODM mode, this has one of the most damaging melee combos in the game. It does a ridiculous amount of damage, but the only problem is you need to constantly switch in and out of ODM mode to get this combo to happen. And, personally, it was a little bit hard for me to do that, and again, it's probably just a bit of a learning curve. So now, with all of the weapons out of the way, let's get into what I think is the most exciting part of this entire update. There are 3 new Titan forms. We got the Armored, Beast, and Colossal. Each of these forms are dropped from the respective Titan boss in the raid. You got the Beast dropping the Beast, Armored dropping Armor, Colossal dropping Colossal. Let's go in order of the appearances of the Titans in the raid. So the first spec is gonna be the Beast form. The Beast form is very powerful, especially if you have heavily restriction in Gear 2 going. So one of his attacks is gonna be this massive AoE rock attack that he spams in the show. His lovely baseball throw, you all know and love this one, does a lot of AoE damage and absolutely shreds any Titans in front of you. And then, if you just spam your basic click, you'll do a ground pound and a ground slash attack. This is more or less the ranged Titan variant that we're getting in the game. The biggest thing with Titans and why these forms are powerful is you take very little damage when you're in a Titan form. So, if you're in a tight spot, you can just quickly summon in your Titan form, and start taking a lot less damage while still dealing a ton of damage, and come off relatively scot-free. So, next Titan form is gonna be the Armored Titan. The Armored Titan is probably my least favorite form. It is still very powerful and deals a lot of damage, but it basically reminds me of the Beast form without having that ranged attack. Now, the one better part of the Armored Titan is he does have this shoulder charge attack, which does do a lot of damage, and you can run around very quickly with them, which is a plus. Other than that, if I'm going for a purely damage, I think I prefer the Beast and Colossal Titan a little bit more, but all of the Titans are just very powerful, especially within the raid itself. The final Titan form that we're going to talk about in this video is the Colossal Titan. And the Colossal Titan, in my opinion, is by far the best Titan form in the game. So the Colossal obviously comes from the Colossal Titan himself. And basically, what you do is when you turn into him, you let off a massive nuclear explosion like what happens in the anime itself. The other 2 Titan forms, you immediately transform. But on this one, you have about a 6-second buffer or so, which you can be hit during. So that is the one downside, and the other downside is I have found it is a little bit buggy to actually unleash his stomp attack. When you click with them, he's supposed to kick his leg and do good AoE damage to anything in front of you, but sometimes I have an issue with this going off. But the main use of the Colossal Titan, in my opinion, is simply running around and transforming with it for that massive nuclear damage whenever you can. It does cost a lot of mana, but it is definitely worth it, and it will save your life because once you transform into that form, you're gonna be taking like literally 0 damage. And when the kicking actually goes off, it does deal a lot of damage, and also you deal a lot of burning damage around you, unless I've been looking at it wrong. But I'm pretty sure you deal a constant burning damage when the enemies are close to you like they would in the show, because the literal heat of the Colossal Titan is so intense that everything around it just burns. Anyways, guys, that was everything that was added within Legends ReWritten. Hopefully, I did a good job showing off the ODM gear. Again, I am not the best player with it. It is a little bit complicated to use, but it is very cool addition to this game. Let me know what you guys want me to do. I know my video schedule has been pretty bad this year, and I disappeared for a while again. But still, let me know what you guys want me to do.